VW Love in Chicago. Here is a quick tutorial on how to press bushings for a Volkswagen TDI. I guess it'll work for other Volkswagens between 1996 to 2000, roughly 2004, 2005. These are polyurethane control arm bushings that were replaced in a 2003 TDI. The old bushings were completely shot. They were rubber. To remove them, I used the method of just pressing them out, not pressing them out, just pushing the small one here, pushing that one out with some screwdrivers and cutting one in and popping it and separating it. That comes right out. The other one, you got to take the metal center out, of course. This other one, you just cut out the middle, the rubber part, and of course I'm talking about the old rubber one. You cut out the middle, and then against the edge you use a hacksaw blade. I use a simple hacksaw blade, opened it up, put the hacksaw dead center in the middle of the old rubber bushing up against the metal wall, and cut it until I went through the outer metal retaining ring and just pushed that in, and that whole assembly fell out. The real problem was not pressing this bearing. And of course I don't have a press, you can see I don't have a press. The real problem was getting that big bearing, the big bushing in. But I'm gonna start with this one because most people have, well, no, I'll start with this one, with the big one. The big one, you take this center piece out when it comes in the box. This is the box that I got. These are the polyurethane control arm bushings that I bought from eBay. I don't know what the cost was on it, but it was relatively inexpensive. Okay, what I used to get that in was a small anvil with a vise on the end. Cranked it all the way out. Cranked it all the way out. I'm not going to crank it all the way out now, and use a block of wood on the back side. And you'll notice that the bushing only goes in one way. So I put the arm in over here and set well, this would have been backwards. It goes like that. I put the arm in on this side, put the bushing in between the block of wood and the metal control arm, and then slowly cranked it in. Tried to keep it on center, and I put a little 3M synthetic lube. The new polyurethane bushings come with grease, but I prefer the synthetic. You know, I've said that in my other videos, that the synthetic is far superior to any other lubrication that you use because it doesn't break down and it doesn't encourage oxidation. So the other stuff breaks down or washes out, or over time it'll dissipate due to just normal petroleum breakdown. Okay, but anyway, you get that on center and this sucker will pop right in. So that's pretty straightforward. You cannot jump on this. You can't use a vise. You either have a press or you have an anvil. I guess if you're really desperate, you can use a jack and jack it up into something that's firm, like the bottom of the car with a 2x4. But that one's doable. That one's not that hard. But this one, the smaller control arm bushing, I had to actually make a small little rig here, and this rig went like this. Yeah. It's just a small thread bolt and a big washer, a flat cap, and a flat cap has to make contact with this outer ring. Flat cap has to make contact with the outer ring. The bushing actually sits on this side and gets forced in this way, and you'll see this side is bigger, this side is smaller. There's a conical shape on the bushing itself that it only goes in one way. You grease that outer lip and you grease this side of the bushing. This side will be over here, of course. And you set your little rig up and you try and get it dead on center, and you start tightening the nut until you'll see it'll actually go off center. And don't get upset if it goes off center. Half of the bushing will start to go in cockeyed, and that's fine. That last little nub that's left there, pinched, if you keep cranking, it'll actually pull it through, and then if you put enough grease in the center, it'll slide up and straighten itself, and the next noise you hear is as it pops out, and you're done. Then you need to go ahead and put it in the metal center, and you're all set. This is an alternative to using a press for those of us who don't have a press and don't like running to the mechanic or to the machine shop for every small little thing. This was the reclaimed one. I actually bought new control arms with rubber bushings for a dual mast to single mast conversion that I just did, and this was the old original control arm that was in the car. It was in pretty good shape. All I did was I converted the rust and then painted it black with rust control from Walmart. Rust control is far superior to Rust-Oleum. You give it about 2 or 3 coats after you do the rust control, after you do the rust conversion on it, and it'll look like new, and it actually hold much better than other paints. Not as good as paint that you bake on, that you're gonna the ceramics that you bake on, but it's for spray paint is pretty good. So if you have any questions about doing these bushings, I've done it successfully in my driveway. I've done 2 of them, the other one's in the bag there. And these are going to go on my other TDI, my 2000 TDI, and hopefully tighten up the rack action, so there's not much vibration. Those original rubber ones, they don't last more than roughly about 5 years. So if your TDI is over 5 years old and you haven't replaced them, look into replacing them. Also, if your TDI is over 5 years old, look into replacing your ball joints. And you can see how bad these ball joints are. Look into replacing your ball joints and your control arm joints. These control arm joints, they bust because of the little rubber fittings on them. And everything gets kind of loose over time. You want to bring it back up. Alright, that's it. Like I said, any questions, comments, and concerns? I was looking at the VW site, and a lot of people had questions about how to press those smaller bearings in there because they are tough. They are tough. Alright, but it's doable and you don't need a bunch of special tools. I'll see you guys later. Take care, and VW Love from Chicago. Take care. Bye-bye.